Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well, guys. I've seen a few pictures, right? Billy Joe Saunders is in great shape for this fight. Billy Joe Saunders is a guy that, as we know, in the past hasn't always lived the life. He's been quite ill-disciplined. A lot of people have said that, he doesn't live the life. He blows up in between fights. But, even before he got into training camp, he was in fantastic shape. But I saw a picture with him, his dad, Tyson Fury, and he's looking in unbelievable shape. I'm talking, he's ripped, no body fat. He's looking in really, really good condition. And Eddie Hearn, in an interview, I don't know whether it was IFL or Boxing Social, he actually mentioned that he's already on weight. And he goes, when is Billy ever in that kind of condition? So this lay out in a fight, because we're still 3 weeks away, and he's already like near fight weight, which is incredible, really. And I think that just shows how well Billy Joe Saunders has trained and how hard he's trained for this fight, because I think he knows, and Eddie Hearn pointed it out, that he knows he has to be at his best to beat someone like Canelo. There's no way he's going to beat him. But it's just great to see him in great shape. It's great to see him, go out there and give it his best shot. Listen, most people expect Billy Joe Saunders to lose this fight, but at the end of the day, he's giving himself the best chance. And also, what we need to see is when he needs to be in great condition, because when he gets to those later rounds, that's when it's going to be tough for him. Because first couple of rounds he might be fresh, he might be all right. It's the later rounds, and I think that his stamina is going to be tested in this fight. And if his stamina is great, then he has a chance. He has a chance. It all comes down to his stamina, because if his stamina gives way, then because Canelo's stamina is not going to be affected, because I don't think Billy Joe can put that kind of pressure on Canelo. And Billy Joe's not going to be putting pressure on Canelo. It's Canelo the one that's going to be kind of like the bull in the fight and putting pressure on Billy Joe, mental and physical pressure. Whereas I think the fight will be happening at Canelo's pace, most likely. Right? If Billy Joe can control the fight, which I think is going to be very, very difficult for him to control the pace of the fight. See, it's not necessarily about, for Billy Joe, it's not necessarily about winning the rounds and, moving around, making Canelo. It's about him controlling the pace. Because what people don't understand is if the fight's not happening at your pace and you're having to work a lot quicker, you're having to move a lot quicker, the fight's not happening at your pace, you're going to get tired a lot quicker. Right? So if, for example, Canelo's walking Billy Joe Saunders down and Billy Joe's moving excessively, that means he's working more than he would want to. He's not controlling the pace of the fight. If you're not controlling the pace of the fight, especially with Billy Joe Saunders' style, which is very energy consuming as it is, you're going to get more tired, because he's going to have to move even more. Especially if he's feeling those Canelo punches, he's going to be moving a lot more. Also, those punches are going to be sapping energy out of you anyway if they're landing consistently. So Billy Joe Saunders is going to have to be in excellent shape from a cardiovascular. He's going to have to be in unbelievable shape. Unbelievable shape. He's gonna have to be in the best shape of his life. And let's be honest, that might not be enough. That might not be enough. So this is why I'm saying this is a very, very hard fight for Saunders. And the fact that he's taking it very seriously, the fact that he's training so hard, and listen, it'd be crazy not to, but it's great to see him giving it his best shot, going out there and not making any excuses, because we don't. The last thing we want after the fight is any excuses. So we want to see the best Billy Joe Saunders. We want to see how good Billy Joe Saunders is. And that's the most important thing about this fight. That's why we're all intrigued. Like, I know everyone's got their opinions, but nobody really knows how good Billy Joe Saunders is. We don't. We don't know how good Saunders is. He may be better than most of us think he is. He may not be as good as what we think he is. But this is the fight that we find out. And that's why it's so intriguing. A lot of the a lot of the Americans are not that interested. A lot of them think that Canelo's going to knock him over. But for us UK fans, the reason why this fight is interesting is because Billy Joe Saunders has been a guy that's always banged about how good he is. A lot of the UK fans want to see how good he is. We obviously know he can fight. We obviously know he's a good fighter. We obviously know he's a slick southpaw and a difficult fight for anybody. But we want to see how good he is. Is he as good as what we think he is? Is he better than what we think he is? Is he a lot worse than what we think he is? You see, this is what we want to see. This is what we all want to see. And Billy Joe Saunders is going to look to rise to the occasion, because a lot of them say that, you know, Tyson and Billy Joe are similar, where Tyson and Billy Joe rises to the occasion. Well, as of yet, Billy Joe hasn't really had an opportunity to fight someone as elite as Canelo, and like, you know, Tyson Fury's done it against Klitschko and Wilder, who were obviously elite heavyweights. Whereas Billy Joe's got the opportunity against an elite super middle or middleweight, you know, one of the elite fighters in world boxing, period. Probably the best fighter in world boxing. So now we get to find out, you know, I think all this stuff about he boxes his head off, I think that's just rubbish. There's no way Billy Joe Saunders is going to completely wipe the floor with Canelo like that. It's just not going to happen. But in terms of him being able to win rounds, yeah, you know, he can. I just don't think he's going to be able to be consistent enough. And personally, I don't know whether he'll go the distance. A lot of people think Billy Joe's definitely going to go the distance. I beg to differ. I just think Canelo's going to be putting too much pressure on. And I think, as they say, pressure bursts pipes. And I think that's why I favor Canelo in the fight. I think Canelo can win this fight in many ways, where I think Billy Joe can only win it in one way. So I think Canelo's the more versatile fighter out of the two. But it's an interesting matchup, and the fact that Billy Joe's in great shape makes it even more interesting, because I know he's in shape and I know he's coming prepared. And listen, he was gonna come prepared anyway for Canelo. He weren't gonna come out of shape, or, you know, come on, you know, who's gonna do that in the biggest fight of their life? But I really want to see what I really want to see. I'm really intrigued. Not because, like I said, because I'm from the UK. Now, people in America might not really care, because we've been in the UK and we've been following Billy Joe's career. And we've been following, we know who he is, and we know what he's been saying over the years, and we know how confident he was, you know, for years now, saying that he beats Canelo. So we just want to see what level he's at. And there's not a lot of people here in Britain that, you know, most people think that Billy Joe's going to lose against Canelo, right? Even here in the UK. But there's quite a few that actually think, you know, he can pull it off. And most importantly, is even if he was to lose, we want to see what level he's at. We want to see how good he is, because from the way he's looking, there's going to be no excuses after the fight. You know, there's not going to be, oh, you know, I wasn't prepared. You know, we already see he's in great shape. We already see that he's in fantastic shape. We see he's taking this seriously. We see he's taking training camp seriously. So I think we're just all intrigued for this fight to happen and see what you know, how Billy Joe Saunders does in this fight. And I'm really looking forward to it. But Billy Joe Saunders, as Tyson Fury pointed out, he can go from being a champion to being a great champion, you know, in this one fight. That's what's on the line. You're fighting one of the best middleweights, super middleweights of all time. So that's what's on the line here. You know, you can make your name for the rest of, like, you could make yourself a superstar. Like basically Tyson Fury has. You can make yourself like that. Because at the minute, nobody really looks at Billy Joe Saunders like he's a star. They think of him as a solid fighter, but not like he's a great fighter. Nobody looks at him like that. Whereas he's got an opportunity to put himself in those brackets by beating someone like Canelo. As soon as if he beats Canelo, even if he beats him and loses a rematch, for example, he's made his name forever. His name will be forever remembered. So this is what I'm saying. It's such a big opportunity for someone like Saunders to go out there and show how good he is. Because when you've been saying for so many years that, you know, you've got the style to beat Canelo, you got the style to trouble Canelo. Now's your opportunity. You're 3 weeks away, and he started on a good. He's basically prepared well. He's prepared well. He's started off very well. He's in great shape. You know. And he's left no stone unturned. You know, as Eddie M mentioned, he's already at fight weight nearly. So, you know, the preparation's been brilliant. And now it's just whether he can deliver on the night, which I'm pretty sure with Billy Joe Saunders and the way he is, Billy Joe Saunders he's not going to have no stage fright. You know, Billy Joe Saunders isn't like that. Billy Joe Saunders is for me, a guy that's got steady nerves. I think he's a guy made for big occasions. And I think he's going to give it his best shot. I do. I think it's going to be an intriguing fight to watch. I'm really looking forward to this fight. I can't explain to you because of those reasons. It's like when Kell Brook was fighting Golovkin, I didn't think Kell Brook was going to win that fight, but there was a lot for me to see on how good Kell Brook is. And I think that was a wrong fight for Kell Brook because I don't think he was a middleweight. For me, it would have been good for Kell Brook. I think I was more intrigued to see Kell Brook against Errol Spence because that fight for me was even more intriguing because both guys to me weren't that proven. Kell Brook was obviously world champion and he had the better win of Sean Porter. But for me, Kell Brook still wasn't proven much. He only had one fight. And Errol Spence wasn't proven at that level at all. So the intrigue was massive for me. And really, what might have determined that fight is the fight before that Kell Brook had with Golovkin, where Golovkin, broke his eye socket. Because if that never happened, who knows? Kell might have even won the fight against Spence. But this is the intrigue for me with this fight, is that we don't know how good Billy Joe Saunders is. And that's what we're going to find out against Canelo, because we know how good Canelo is. We know what level Canelo's operating at right now, and it's a very, very high level. And most people think that Billy Joe won't get to that level. That's why most people are picking Canelo by stoppage or Canelo to win. I think it's going to be very difficult for Saunders. Very, very difficult. But nothing is impossible. And Saunders, like I said, is very motivated, very determined. He's a good boxer, very slick boxer. And I believe that he's not going to freeze on the occasion. I believe he's going to take it in his stride. He's motivated. He's in great shape. So really, if you look at it, he's in a great place. He's in a great place. Now it's just about him going out there and performing. He's got, a guy that he has great chemistry with as a trainer in Mark Tibbs, who I believe is a good trainer, very well respected trainer here in the UK. I'm pretty sure they've come up with a game plan to beat someone like Canelo. Listen, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Very, very tough, because Canelo, like I said, is elite of the elite, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But impossible is nothing, and this is definitely not impossible. Although, like I said, I've made it quite clear on who I think is going to win. I don't think I think you keep boring you with that. But I think it's an intriguing fight for Billy Joe to prove himself. Because at the end of the day, we can give our opinions, but it's only opinions. Opinions on how a fight's going to go is just an opinion. We don't know how it's going to go. That's why we're going to watch. If we knew how it's going to go, then we wouldn't watch. And I'm definitely going to be watching. This is one of the fights that I'm looking forward to the most. I can't wait. I can't wait. And let's see how this fight plays out. But the fact that Billy Joe Saunders is in great shape, he's giving himself the best possible chance to pull this off. He's giving himself the best possible chance. And like I said, stamina is going to be key here. Stamina is going to be key. How he's looking in the later rounds is going to be key. How his stamina is, how fit he is. Because like I said, Canelo's going to be putting a lot of mental and physical pressure on him. Right? And that tires you. And Billy Joe already has a very energy-consuming style. Right? And when you've got a guy that's tiring you more, and again, what I mentioned earlier about the fight happening at his pace, if the fight's not happening in Billy Joe Saunders' pace, then he's going to tire quicker, because that means Canelo's controlling the pace of the fight. And Canelo is going to want to pressure Billy Joe Saunders. So if Billy Joe Saunders is not at ease in that ring and not controlling the pace, right? And that's what happened when Khan fought him. Khan wasn't controlling the pace of the fight. Although he was winning the rounds for me, he wasn't controlling the pace. Canelo was. So that's why Khan started to tire. And that's what's going to be intriguing. Can Billy Joe Saunders control the pace of the fight? See, when he fought Lemieux, the reason why he didn't get tired, because Billy Joe Saunders was completely controlling the pace of that fight. Lemieux was just miles away from him. That won't be the same with Canelo. Canelo will get to Saunders. He will get to Saunders in this fight, right? He isn't as flat-footed, or he's way, way better than David Lemieux. Way, way better. So, and like I said, Billy was able to control the pace, so stamina never became an issue. But if Billy Joe Saunders isn't able to control the pace against Canelo, and Canelo's dictating the pace, with Billy Joe's style as it is, and the movement will become more excessive, he'll get tired a lot more. And you saw that against Bellew. When Bellew fought Usyk, Bellew was moving a lot. He was boxing, he was trying to move, a lot of excessive moving. And basically he burnt himself out. He got tired because he was moving a lot. He tried something different, but he ran out of gas. And that could be the same thing with Billy Joe Saunders, because Billy Joe Saunders may be moving a lot more than he does usually. It's going to be tough, but it's intriguing. That's what makes it so a great watch for me. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think about Billy Joe Saunders' physique. The fact that it's really promising, that, you know, he's in great shape. What do you make of all of that? Leave your thoughts. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.